Breaking news: Africans outrightly say no to Donald Trump's offer. What a time! Oh my goodness. The internet has been buzzing because this seems to be the first time the President of America will be making an offer to Africans, and the African people are saying no to his offer. Hello, welcome back to the channel. In today's important story and very crucial one, like you've never heard before, United States President Donald Trump has sparked international controversy with his recent statement regarding land expropriation in South Africa. Trump alleged that white farmers in the country were being unfairly targeted and claimed that the South African government was seizing land and mistreating a certain group of people.
So you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And on the back.
His remarks have been widely criticized for distorting the realities of South Africa's land reform policies. To grasp the current debate, it is crucial to examine the historic background of land ownership in South Africa, which is what brought us to this whole reaction. So first things first, European colonizers began acquiring land in the region in the late 1600s, displacing indigenous communities of the black people. Over time, laws such as the 1913 Native Land Act restricted black South Africans to a mere 8% of the country's land, leaving white settlers in control of vast territories. This imbalance was further entrenched by the apartheid regime from 1948 to 1994, which systematically denied land rights, economic properties, and political representation to non-white citizens. Despite the fall of apartheid, land ownership remains skewed. Today, white South Africans, who make up only about 7% of the entire population, still own around 72% of privately held farmland. This persistent inequality has fueled calls for land redistribution to address historical injustices and promote economic equity. South Africa's land reform initiatives aim to correct historical disparities rather than arbitrarily disposes white farmers. The government's policy primarily targets underutilized or state-owned land for redistribution, with expropriation without compensation being considered only in specific cases, such as abandoned properties. Contrary to Trump's portrayal, land reform measures follow legal procedures, with independent courts overseeing the process to ensure fairness. Productive agricultural and privately owned businesses are largely protected under these policies. Trump's comments have since then met with sharp criticism from South African leaders. President Cyril Ramaphosa refuted the claims, asserting that the country's land reforms are conducted transparently and without external interference. South Africa belongs to its people, not to foreign politicians. Ramaphosa stated this firmly and very clearly.
This issue that Donald Trump fears so much, we offer this question of the land. I don't know what Donald Trump has to do with South African land, because he's never been here. And he must keep his America, we will keep our South Africa. That's what he must do. South Africa is our land. South Africa belongs to all the people who live here in South Africa. It does not belong to Donald Trump. He can keep his America. And Ene is even worse. He's even worse. When I meet him, I will tell him. I'll say, you, Donald Trump, you are even worse, because your forebears came to America. They found the indigenous Americans they wiped them out. They killed nearly all of them. Rine, we are living as a nation, and black and white, we are going to find solutions for our land question. So Donald Trump must leave us alone. He must leave us alone, Bauri. When we were facing apartheid, when we were facing oppression, he was not here. He did not fight side by side with us. And we were able, on our own, yes, with support of progressive forces in the world, to resolve the apartheid question. As far as I recall, Donald Trump was not around the negotiating table when we negotiated the end of apartheid. So stick around there in the White House. We will do our business here, and we will find solutions for our problems. So stay out of our issues, and we will not get involved in your issues in America. You have your own problems. Leave us alone.
Trump's threat to cut the U.S. funding to South Africa over the issue has had little impact on the government's stance. Moreover, his suggestion that white South African farmers should be granted asylum in the United States has withdrawn mixed reactions. While some right-wing groups have supported the idea, many white South Africans themselves have dismissed claims of persecution, stating that they have no intention of leaving their homeland to America, which is South Africa.
We see our future in Africa. Our people in Afrikaans, the Afrikaner folk, became a people here on the southern tip of Africa. We did not develop elsewhere. We are not Europeans. We are indigenous to this people and to this country, and we are going nowhere. We want to also show appreciation to President Trump, as well as of course the US government, for recognizing and identifying the discrimination that Afrikaners are experiencing through racial legislation, through the BELA Act, through threats to property rights. Of course, hopefully that would help to also urge the various parties also in this country to go to the negotiation table to find amicable solutions that's in the interest of all in the country. So that we will do, but we have to state categorically, we don't want to move elsewhere. We are not going to ask our children now to move to another country. The fact is, our ancestors worked hard to make sure that we as a people are formed down the southern tip of Africa. We're not going to disrespect that. We also have the interests of future generations in mind. We also have to make sure that our culture is transferred to future generations. And that cannot be done abroad.
So this is outrightly turning down Trump and telling him, no, we do not want your offer. Critics have pointed out also that the apparent racial bias in Trump's asylum offer, while he extended refugee to white South African farmers, he has not made similar gestures towards African migrants fleeing violence and conflict in countries such as Democratic Republic of Congo and Sudan. This has raised questions about whether Trump's immigration policies are driven by humanitarian concerns or racial preferences. Trump's tension with South Africa are not limited to land reform. His administration has also pressured South Africa to drop its genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, ICJ. However, South Africa has refused to yield to U.S. demands, maintaining its legal challenge and asserting its independence in foreign policy decision. This has triggered a lot of reactions, with so many people saying that other African countries should learn from South Africa at the moment. That South Africa is showing a clear example of we are Africans, we have natural resources, and we can be independent from people who claim to help us, but in turn take our fortune, like the Western world. In conclusion, Trump's statement on South Africa have intensified discussions on land reform while highlighting broader global disparities. While land redistribution remains a sensitive and very complex issue, South Africans from all backgrounds continue to engage in constructive dialogue about their country's future. The controversy surrounding Trump's remark underscores the importance of understanding history and the historical context before making any political declaration. Well, we will be watching your own opinion in the comments below. Do you think other African countries should learn from South Africa? Is what South Africa doing currently right? Let us know in the comment below. Or do you think the white South Africans in South Africa should have bought into the idea of migrating to the US and become US refugees? Let us know your own opinion too in the comment below. But here are a few reactions from people across the internet. As you watch, don't forget that this is Ife's Hub and my name is Ifeka. Make sure you like, subscribe and turn on your bell notification to stay updated with all the breaking news. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.
We're advocating for Donald Trump and Elon Musk to have a look into the country and to the political stance what's happening here. With regards to the government corruption that's happening, I think most of the country, I love my country and I love the diversity that we have. You can see I've got South African socks on. I support my country and my country supports me.
Fortunately, the truth of the 30 years is that we have a divided country that focus on a point to a government is literally placing policy and positioning South Africa as a divided nation, and in that in itself it corrupts in different levels. It brings the concept